Hi, you're with Crafts at Home with Lisa. I just wanted to come back to you this morning and basically do just a quick video on making roads with single petaled cutters. As against last night we did these ones, a set of 4, which were really nice. If you want to have a look at those, just pop across and have a look at the other video, which is makes a beautiful rose. So what we're going to try and do today is use these. They're just single petal cutters. So I'm going to get on and recondition my clay, Fimo clay, oven dry Fimo clay. Now these are just 2 lumps of pink I was messing about with yesterday. So I'm going to recondition one, recondition the other, see what colours I've got, because I'd like to have a bit of a variation on the colouring that we use. And use my amazing pasta machine to recondition it, and then we'll have a little look. Now, like I said yesterday, I bought these a very long time ago, these 3. I haven't ever really used them, but apparently it would appear that I have lost one. I've got the small one, the next one, and I've got one between these 2. I had a good look yesterday for it, but can't find it. But that doesn't mean it's not there. So I will have another look for it at some point. But please do bear with me, because obviously I'm missing one. So I'm at disability straight away. But we'll see what we can do. I can't imagine it will make a huge amount of difference, to be honest. And we'll go from there. So I'll meet you back here after I've reconditioned my Fimo. And I've got it flat and I've got it the colours I want it, and then we'll start cutting them out. Okay, see you in a minute. Right, hello. So I've conditioned my Fimo clay. I've got it through the pasta machine a couple of times. It's not fully conditioned yet, but I thought it'd just be fun to see if we just put white sort of lines and blobs and whatnot on it, what sort of pattern we would get at the end of it. I know there's people on YouTube and on the internet and that put on there how to get some really sort of nice funky patterns in it. But I thought, rather than just watch that, I thought we'd just give it a go and see what happens. So I'm going to fold it in half, flip it over because this is the better half, and then I like to tuck my sides in because they're not overly pleasant, are they? And then tuck the end in, and then fold it in half, and then I sort of try and get it so that it's nice and kind of the edges aren't so rough, like so. I just thought I'd sort of show you what I was thinking. I mean, it may be completely balmy and it may go completely wrong, but it may not. So let's give it a go. Okay, so there's our square. Okay, I'm going to put it in now. Right, so this is what we've got. It's kind of in the middle at the moment. It's just starting to come through here and there. See, look a little bit here. But it must still be in the middle. So we're going to put it through again. And tuck the sides back in again. Each time you put it through, it just reconditions it and get it so it's nice and sticky. And sort of mounts together nice. Any bits that it sticks to the table, I just kind of plop them back on there. Then we'll go from there. Like so. Tuck your ends in. I mean, we could break it in half and try rolling it. I did that last night and that was quite successful actually. So we'll just give it a bit of a roll. Make sure your ends are nice and sort of straight as well. Okay, so I'm going to make that a little bit longer because I want to twist the 2 pieces together. So get them quite long, and then we can put them through, squish them down and put them through. Okay, so any lines that I'm seeing, I'm just gently rubbing them over, just so they're kind of mixed, like so. And I can actually see a little bit of the white starting to come through the edge there, if you can see it. Okay, so same with this one. Still might be a little bit thick, but we'll figure it out in a minute. If it starts to break apart, squeeze it back together. Just push it together like that. tucking the ends in as we go, like I did in the other one. Again, if you can see it, the white's just starting to poke through, look, only very slightly. So it should come through really nicely in a minute. I like it when you've got a sort of choice of different designs and whatnot in the coloration when it comes to picking out which bit you're going to put your petal onto. I like that. Okay, so we've got two bits roughly the same, so I squeeze the top together like so, and then I just twist like this. And just keep twisting. If it starts to break, just push it, squish it together, squish the break marks, and squish and squish and squish. Seems to be my word of the day, squish. And just keep twisting. Okay, and then now we've ended up with something that looks a bit odd. So I'm going to roll that, see if we can get it into one piece. I'm going to fold it in half, like a, doesn't look like a croissant then. Squeezing all the bits together. Right, now technically if I roll it now, it should, I might have to help it in the odd place here and there, but it should start rolling together, because we don't really want it to split when it goes through the pasta maker. So squish it up so it can sort of really sort of stick to itself. Okay. I know this was about single petals and that, but I just felt like this is kind of an important part. If you don't like the colour, then you are not going to like the rose at the end of it. It doesn't matter how wonderful the rose looks, you're not going to be happy with it. So always use and try and sort of get the colour. My theory was I was going to use this pink and not add any more to it, because I didn't want the lump of clay to get any bigger. But that went out the window when I decided it would be a wonderful idea to put some white in it. I didn't put a huge amount in, but obviously I put enough in. Now we're stuck with another large thing. And I asked my son last night what I could do to use it, and his idea was to come up and make a pig. So I'm not overly keen on making a pig. I don't know. It may be that we'll end up making a pig. Okay, so I'm going to put this through the pasta machine, and hopefully we get some really pretty colours come out. When I mixed it originally together, there was two different coloured pinks, as you can see there, and then in the odd place you've got a little bit of white just starting to poke its little head through. So let's have a little look, see what we've got. Well, that was a little bit disappointing, wasn't it? Although we have got some nice markings going on there. Right, I'm not going to... Oh, there's some nice ones outside. So I'm not going to further ado, I'm going to cut out my petals now. Now each one of these, because we do, when we use these ones, there's five petals per cutter. So I'm going to cut out 5 of each of these. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think which there's 4 lots there. No, I'm going to stick to the 3 lots and we'll just see what happens. It may be that I might need to cut out some more of these ones, but we'll see what happens. I might cut out 5 of each, and then 4 or 3 of this one again to make up for this size in the middle here, and just not sort of feather the edges quite as much as I will do these ones. And that should replace the middle one that we're missing. Okay, I'll meet you back here when that's all done. Hi everyone, I was cutting out the ones that we're actually missing, the one we're missing, and I was cutting out the 5, or I said I was going to do 3 large ones, but I thought, hang on a minute, how silly. New craft knife, cut out 5 large ones and then just trim them down. So I'm just going to show you, I've done 4 of them already, so I'm just going to do one now. So literally I'm just taking a very thin layer from the outside, just cutting round. I just wanted you to know what we were doing, so that if there's always a way forward, it doesn't necessarily mean because you're missing something that you can no longer do that item. There's always ways and means around it. So I just really wanted you to know. Okay. Okay. So it doesn't have to be completely and utterly straighter than straight, and then all I do afterwards is just tap it down and run my finger over it, and that just any edges that stick out like that, it just tucks them back in like so. There you go. So I don't think I'll squeeze it a little bit, and because you're using you feathering the edges, which we'll start in a minute, it doesn't overly concern. So there we go. Look, we've got 3, well actually 4, sorry, 4 different sizes, and we're going to start now getting ready to feather them out like we did yesterday with the 5 petal ones all together. So okay, so they're all cut. So now I'm going to show you how to feather them, just like we did on the other ones on the other video. I'll show you on a big one, because obviously we need to make sure you can see it well. There we go. He's only doing his bit for... And then my older one doesn't know why she's barking, she's just barking because he's barking. They do make me laugh. Right, anybody who knows me, I'm a big cornflower fan. So it must be nice and unsticky. If it's sticky, it will not work, because it will just stick to the pad, which, like I used on the last one, it's a piece of foam rather than a sponge. It's quite a stiff pad, but if you don't have something soft underneath it when you do this part to it, it won't work, because it won't have anything to bounce into. Okay. Ball tool, big end. Let's throw a bit of wood around now. He's got some coffee wood or something, for olive wood or whatever it's called. Okay, so I always start by just patting down the edges. As you can see, it already starts to like turn it into. That's what you're looking for. Some soft, curly edges. Okay. Don't forget to do the tip, and it will stretch out where you want it to. This, I mean, it's good. It's really good. This is Fimo oven dry clay. Again, I like this stuff. It allows me to do what I want to do with it. I don't have to worry about locking it away into a airtight bag and whatnot. I do have some other, which is air dry, which we will have a little look at. I got a lot of that, of the Das Junior, it's called, from the works, so that is definitely worth. We'll have a look at that and see, and sort of have a little compare against the Fimo. I do have some air dry Fimo in the drawer, so we'll use that, because it's not fair to put it against the oven dry Fimo, because they're 2 different ones. So we'll try both at some point, but I don't know what to make. If there's something in particular you'd like to see made, please leave it in the comments, because sometimes I run out of things to have a go at. I mean, these flower ones, I don't think I've ever made a rose until I made that one yesterday, or the one before that actually. That's the first time I've ever really made a rose and realised that I actually even got any cutters for it. So it is doable, and you don't have to be an expert, because I am no means nowhere near an expert. But at the same time, all you've got to do is just have a little bit of creativeness about you, or that's perhaps the wrong way of sort of saying it. The want to have a little go at something. If you've got the want to do it, you will succeed one way or another. And I just hope that the way I show you is the way that works for you. It's not going to work for everybody. It works for me. But if I can, like I said yesterday in the other video, if I can just get a couple of people say it works for, then that's really all I'm looking for, just to help people out. So that one's now done. See how it's kind of flopping a bit like a petal? So I'm going to brush that one off before I put it over there because it's quite, quite thick. This is the other thing I like about clay work, because if I blow it, it doesn't matter. I can't blow fondant work because somebody's going to obviously might eat it. So it's really nice, and if I get a dog hair in it, I don't have to start again. I just pick it out. So it works really well for me. Got some beautiful patterning in that, look, if you can see that. Right, I'm going to get all the others done, and then I will meet you back here when they're all finished. Okay. Hi everyone. Right, we are at the point now where I have feathered all the petals in. I've got all my 5 different sizes. Squidger glue over here, so we're ready with a brush to start gluing that. And I've got my stick with the centre of the rose in it. You want it, they say when you measure it, you should measure it from there to there, because you want it just sort of laying in there and just about to poke out the top when it's been glued on. On a stick, obviously, you want to get it on the stick, otherwise that's going to hold the rose. And then I just stabbed mine into my yellow sponge. Okay, so let's get started. I would just firstly like to say though, how I found this side of it a complete faff. The other side, when we use these, so much easier. What I found with these is it took me much longer because it was making my hands ache, where I have the arthritis in my hands, and it was making my hands ache, and it was absolutely, it's just not something that I'll be repeating again. I probably won't use the single cutters again, not having used the other ones first. The only thing that I would like to do with the other ones is get perhaps a bigger set so we can make some bigger roses. So let's get started. So we've got some, let's clear some space over here. What's going on here? That one. And that one. And that one. Right, so we're going to start with the smaller size first. So brush. So this one you want to take it up pretty high up to about there, I would think, if you can see that. You just don't want the very top, because that's where it's going to just sort of poke out a bit, really. Okay, so you don't want you don't want hordes and hordes and hordes and oodles of glue, otherwise it won't be tacky enough to stick and it will slide off. Okay, so first one, here we go. So as you put these on, you want them fairly tight but not too tight, and each one is to overlap the other. Okay, so really just like that. Make sure you've got tight on the bottom. So if you can see that. Now don't forget you've got about 5 of these on. I don't know if you'll be able to see that right now. Oh, I sort of stuck that. Okay, so you've got 5 of these to put on. So let's go for the next one. Oh, I should have some kitchen roll, really. It's my biggest friend, kitchen roll. Okay, so remember tacky. So the next one you put on, you're going to twist it round, and you're going to, because like I said, don't forget you've got 5 of these to put on. So about the same sort of height. Tuck the bottoms under, so you've got nice tight bottoms. Okay. And you want to stick them so they're nice and stuck. Just gently pushing them down and they will stick. Especially if you haven't got oodles of glue on there, because like I said, it will. I think as well, what I might do on this one is if I get to number 4 and I think, right, okay, that's enough, I'm only going to put 4 on. We'll have to see what it looks like. So here's the next one. So it's 3/4 glued, like so. Okay, and then overlap it like before. Keep it the same sort of height. Tap it down nicely. Yeah, I think I'm only going to use 4, you know. you can just sort of bend them about a bit so they're just sort of just basically look like they're just about to open in the centre. Remember, I've got my white one that's material. I always use that as a general like template. So if I've got any thoughts to myself and think, well, should I or shouldn't I? There you go, it's there. Right. I think number 4 is probably going to be my last one, if I'm honest. I don't know. We'll put it on and have a look. Because if I put that one on there, the next one's going to be... I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go in an even numbers. I am going to use just the 4, I think, on this time. Obviously, each time I come to the 4th or 5th one on each one, I will assess it and try and use it if I can. But perhaps that's the nice thing about it, is cutting your own petals, individual petals. You are completely in control of what you're using. So if you don't want to do something, you don't have to. Whereas there are other ones, you've got 5 there and they're all on one cutter, and you don't have a choice because you have to use them all. But I like that. Certainly for my arthritis, this one I've definitely struggled with. It's definitely been a bit of an eye-opener. The other one towards the end of doing them, my hands got a little bit, they get really, really painful. But this one was, well, goodness, I don't think I'd even finished the big ones, and it was starting. So I've had to have a break here and a break there, and it's taken me ages to do them. So, right, that's the little ones done. I'm happy with that. I think I made the right choice of only doing 4 petals. If I can fit 5 on next time, I will do, but if I can't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Okay, so next size. So this one, I'm going to do it in like a diagonal on this one, because I want the bottom half to stick, and I kind of want one side to stick and not the other side. I want to be able to flip it over if I want to. So that kind of sticks there, and then it's kind of, so like so. Stick your bottoms on, make sure you've got a nice fitting bottom. Like so, okay. So, actually I quite like that. Okay. Remember, it doesn't have to be tight. It's only the first ones that go in tight. Oh, I'm getting covered in cornflour. Okay. Just pull them apart, because you don't want them sort of stuck together. Like so. Okay, so we're going to put the next one on. And we're going to do the same. Okay. Just have one, like 2/3 of it down. So an angle. So like a bit like that. Okay. There we go. So we're going to stick it back on again, same sort of height. Make sure your bottom's stuck. And up one side, down the other, and we're just going to bend that edge, you know, like so. My bottom doesn't seem to be sticking. Okay, we're just going to fold that edge down, just the same. Problems where you use a tool, whatever you need to do, just to make sure that bottom is stuck up. Otherwise, you'll end up with a completely soggy bottom and it will just drop. In my last video, it shows you how temperamental it can be, because the whole rose comes off the stick in the last one. which was a bit scary, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so next one. And we're going to do the same again, a diagonal sort of, straight diagonally, and then just make sure there's a nice amount of glue. Not oodles, just a nice amount. I always think if you can see white, then there's too much, it's like a puddle. But if you can see it just looks wet, then I think that one's not too bad. So turn it around again. I think we might use this 5 this next time. We'll see. Okay, and then we're just going to bend that top out again down that side. Tuck your bottom up. Okay. That's it. Okay, so we got that. I've got to admit, I mean, you could probably do this with the other cutter, the way that I've done it. I'm just trying something new. See if it works. If it does, it doesn't. If it does, it does. If it does, it doesn't. Okay, an angle again. Remember, nice amounts, not oodles, but nice amounts. There we go. By making it look like it's just wet, it won't slide about as such. It will be tacky, which is what you want really. Okay, so we're moving it around again. Same height. I'm going to try and use the 5th one this time. Okay, so we'll roll that down. Tuck the bottom under. Yeah, I think the 5th one needs to go on this time. If I can get it on, of course. Tuck your bottom up. Use your tool. Whatever you've got to use. Come on, saggy bum. Saggy bottoms are not good. Okay, and the last one. We'll see if we can fit this one on. Okay, so I'm going to do the same scenario again. Diagonal. I don't know that I'm going to get this one on if I'm honest, folks. But we'll certainly have a go. It just needs to go in that gap there. And then just fold down that edge. Oh, we have. Oh, look at that, we have. Well done. I didn't think it would look right, but it's all right, to be fair. That's it, making sure it's well sort of down. Because there's supposed to be gaps and all that sort of thing now, it is what you need to be looking at. But we can start and roll some of these later. I like to let the glue flash off before I start messing about with things like that. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a much bigger rose than what the last one and last two were that we made. Okay, so next size. So this one I'm just going to do the half and then stick it on. I'm not going to use that one because I actually split it. So if it comes to it and I don't need it, all good. Now these are the ones I made. Just cut the edges off. Just slightly, I'll cut out big ones and then just slightly come in a little bit. Just cut them off. So they should be absolutely fine to use. So I'm going to do half this time because I want them to roll in a different way. Okay. Just in a cat shoot past. Okay. So like that. And then roll it down. Now these ones can start to fall out a little bit. They don't have to be so tight on the actual plant. on the petals, on the bud. Don't forget to tuck your bottom up. I will perhaps do another one of these later, so you've got two to compare. Okay, that one looks alright. Do two of them, and perhaps do a purple one later. But we will use the same colours. Ooh. That didn't work, did it? All it's done is cover my iPad in dust. So, see, I don't want oodles, I don't want puddles. Okay, so we're going to do the same with this one. Remember, overlap. That is your biggest, my biggest tip for you, really. One of my biggest tips. The other one is don't rush. That is my most biggest tip, I think, is don't rush. That is so important that you don't rush. If you just take your time, make sure everything's nicely stuck, your bottoms are pushed up nicely, and everything's kind of... That's it. Remember, use a tool if you need to for the bottom. Make sure it's nice and stuck. There we go, look. That's it. Okay. Next one. I don't know whether I will use that fifth one. I don't know, but we'll keep that one, like I say, that I split in the middle, which won't make any difference, but I don't have to use it. I'd rather use the really good ones to start with. Okay, tacky, not oodled, not puddled. So we're going to do the same again. Oh look, this is the PVA glue, just gets everywhere, and it's like a... My hands are so white with corn flour, it's unbelievable. Right, overlapping it again. So just down the very bottom, overlap. That's it. Make sure it's nicely on there, tapping it down constantly. And then pulling it out. It doesn't matter if you can see a little bit of glue, that doesn't matter, because it will dry. PVA glue dries clear. Okay, just nicely, just make sure it's well patted down, otherwise it will just come off and you don't want it to, obviously. Tap and use your tool. Like so. Okay. That's it. If it's not sticking enough, just pop your brush down there. Just rub a bit of, nearly said jam, a little bit of glue down there, and that should just hold it enough. There we go. There we go. So next one, I think we might use both these, you know. A little bit thick in the middle, that one, so I'm just going to tap it down and squeeze it out a little bit. Remember, it doesn't matter if they're inconsistent in size. So is a rose. Always remember that, please. We're not doing a textbook rose. We want it to look realistic. So don't worry if it looks slightly inconsistent. That's probably better that it looks inconsistent than what it would do if it didn't. Okay, so this one we're just going to pop it down there, like so. Now I don't want it to catch on that one, so I'm just going to ooze it up a little bit, eke it up a little bit. And just tuck down the sides. Use my tool at the bottom. Okay. Still want it to make that curly kind of look. Yeah. There we go. So I am, ladies and gentlemen, going to use that other petal. Excellent. Waste not, want not. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. My camera completely died on me, so just had to... My husband's moved my desk. He's put me into our lounge now, which gives me a little bit more space. But obviously I'm still trying to find my feet, so do bear with me. So I just went to plug in my camera and the plug didn't reach. So that wasn't very helpful. So I've just had to move the entire camera over to the other side. So I do apologise. But actually I think you can see it a little bit better actually from that view. And I might keep it from that view from now on, because that is much better, I think. Right, so we've got one more petal, which is the one that I split. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue over that split in the middle, and then that just makes sure, look, it won't come undone. It won't split any further. Perhaps it's a better way of saying it. So this is the last of this petals to go. Okay. When you put a petal on and you start a new row or anything like that, always try and go over a seam. So you don't want to put a petal behind a petal. You want to go in between petals from the last row. Okay. So this one I'm going to pull it down a little bit more because there's kind of enough room there for it, but not. I know that sounds really silly, but make sure it's nice and swooped down underneath, nice and sort of smooth. Otherwise it would just peel off, and obviously you don't want that. Come back in after waiting for the glue to dry and flash off, and all your petals are back on the side. Not that it hasn't happened to me, of course, because it has. Right, so just pushing it up, not with petals, because obviously this isn't something that I've ever really sort of had a go at making, so I'm quite pleased with this. So now we're on the big ones. Huge, 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 huge. So these ones, what you want to do is just glue 1/3. Now these ones are the ones that will peel off because they're heavy, and if you don't kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Just 1/3 of it is enough glue, but if you don't get it so it's not slippy and tacky, it will just slide straight off. So be really vigilant with your glue on this one. All I do is just until it's really slippy and tacky, look. Make sure the edges, because this one you want to kind of roll out more, if that makes sense. Right, I'm going to start and move it around by one. Right, so this, goodness me, they're huge. So if you find that they're too big and you're not happy with them, just move them down a little bit. So these ones are the ones I'm going to twist and just pinch at the ends, like that, okay? I think it's because I've been used to, and I did a couple yesterday, and they were quite small petals. These ones are quite large. And then I suppose that's what you want. You don't want some sort of little ones. If you want it stuck up a little bit more, just pop a little bit more glue in it if you need to. Like this. And then just push it up. You can even sort of put it as however it is you want it to. See, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to put a little bit of glue a little bit further up as well, so it kind of sticks a little bit higher. Like that. And then I can roll the edges in a minute. Yeah, that is like glue squidging. It's just a case of feeling your way around. So all we've got to do is just have a look underneath it. Make sure everything's stuck down as you want it to. I think I'm okay. Right, so I've done that one. So now we're going to start the next one. Might go for a little bit of a smaller one next time, otherwise so that they don't pull each other off. I'm just going to sweep off the cornflour. I've got cornflour all over my top. I am completely caped in cornflour. When I do these videos, I shouldn't really wear black with messing about with cornflour, because obviously you end up covered in it. Or I do anyway. I'm probably one of the messiest people that you'll ever meet. Now I'm actually going to glue half of these petals, because they're so big. I wasn't anticipating them being so big, so I'm going to do half. That way I'm going to make sure it is well stuck, because I don't want them to fall off. So right, okay, here we go. So remember, you're overlapping again. You've got to overlap every time you do one. And then sweep the sides down to make sure it stays there. I think what I might do is cook these ones afterwards, and what I'll do is I'll show you in my next video when I do the little green bit that goes on the bottom, which we're going to use air dry for that. I think that is pulling it on. Yeah, we're going to use air dry clay for that. So in that video I will show you what it looks like when they've been cooked. Okay, so just again, feel around, sweep the sides down, tuck your bottom up. Okay, I quite like that one. So back in the hole that's been created. Okay, right, so let's go for the next one. This one. I don't know how many of these we're going to actually need, these big ones. I'm not going to push it. If we don't need any more than about 4, I'm not going to push it. I mean, if you want to use all of your 5, do so. Like I said earlier, I am by no means an expert at all. This is just a hobby to me, and I like doing it, and I like making things. But if I can show people a little bit of an easier way to do it along the way, that's all good for me. That's all I'm after. Remember, overlapping it again. Tuck up your bottom. Just gently massage your sides down. Alright. Just neatly, just carefully. I can feel mine's moving on the stick, which isn't good. 4, which I'm going to stick in the middle here now. So I've got a choice of 2. One's quite large. It must be quite deceiving though, because it looks much, much larger than it actually is. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it does. Well, this one's got a hole in it, and this one doesn't. So we use the doesn't. Knock off the... oh my goodness, the powder flour stuff. Otherwise it will... that will stop it from sticking when the glue gets on it. So I just drop it straight into a pile of it. Corn flour. That's what I'm thinking of. Corn flour. Half is about half glue. That first one I put on is kind of very saggy, so I'm just going to go in a minute and have a look and see if there's any way we can just tuck a little bit of glue in there to try and sort it out. But I suppose this is going underneath it as well, so okay. I think I just heard our gate. Okay, pinch the ends because that's That's what we're doing on this row. You don't have to pinch the ends. You can just roll them if you want to. But I'm not going to roll mine until the glue's sort of flashed off a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Oh, I already have. So that should, just a little bit more as well. Sounds like my daughter's home. Okay, right, and we'll just leave that one now then, just to flash off, and then we'll come back and have a look and do some rollings of some petals and see how we get on. Good luck, speak to you in a minute. Hi, right, I'm back. Just wanted to show you something that my husband has just managed to mock me up in a matter of minutes, which is going to help me in the long run, and the short run, if I'm perfectly honest. So I said to you earlier on I was worried about putting these, my little soft pieces of foam, which is what I dig the holes into to do the roses, and it holds them sort of still for me. I said to you I was worried about putting it in the oven. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have melted, but there was still that element of it might well do. So rather than risk it, he all of a sudden came in with this beautiful contraption. Just a piece of wood. He's drilled numerous holes right the way across the middle. Now I always usually go for these size dowels, only because I've got them, but I think I've probably finished them by now. These are the last ones. But even if I had to use a toothpick, I could fill it with a little bit of Fimo clay first, and then it would go hard in the bottom and just fill the hole out a little bit with a cocktail stick. So either or, doesn't matter. And then he's also, because he knows I put foil over the top of everything that goes in the oven, put me with these sort of two little ends at each end, if you can see them here. This is so that I can put my piece of foil up, over and back down the other side, because then it just protects them, just that little bit. But they don't go straight through, they've got a bottom to them and everything. This is fantastic for me, absolutely brilliant, if you can see. It really is. So right now we're going to have a little look at curling some of these petals. What I'm going to do is pop it back into this just for now so you can see them. See me sort of transfer the petal, curling petals and whatnot. So there we go, that's in. So bear in mind still that these are still soft, so do remember that. Right, so I'm going to get my cocktail stick and start rolling. You can start rolling them round on the outside and then let it follow the cocktail stick round. You're probably going to get a little bit of stress markings on that because it was a little while ago we did them, because I let the glue go off. But it should be okay. Roses got stress markings and all sorts of wonderful things like that. Okay, they don't have to be very big rolls, they could just be little ones. Just like that. Just like that. That one's already got one on, it's pushed underneath, so I'm just going to do one on this one because it's got a beautiful ruffle along the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to move up here to these ones. Not every rose petal has got a ruffle or a fold, some of them are just flat. So we'll just leave them flat. So it's just the odd one I want to put on. Yeah, I think I'll do that one. Do one side and then maybe the other. Okay, and then this side as well. Okay. And this corner over here. Don't forget as well, you can just pinch them if you'd rather. Just a little pinch. Just to help me, I'm just going to pull it up a little bit. Like that. And these ones, I'm just going to do a little roll on them. Like that. And pull it down just a little bit perhaps. And this one. Okay. And I think I'm Very pleased with that one. So that one's got a bit of a tear in it, but that's okay. Just kind of bend it out. The cocktail sticks, in all honesty, are quite good to use because you've got the point at the end, which is something that you will sort of need. Okay, so this is the bit around the bird, so I'm just going to do a little lip out and a little lip on this one if I can get it bent round. I don't know how I'm going to be honest. Don't stress about it and only do the bits you want to do. There we go. I'm going to roll that one under. Just a wee bit. There we go. Well, there we go. Okay, so that's what we're kind of left with. I'm going to put one on the end of this one, so the whole end is rolled under. Like that. We'll put some rolls on the outside as well. And that one's just torn off. So do be careful because obviously it's been sat sort of waiting for the glue to go off. So it does go a little bit harder and it's not as supple as when you first done it. Okay, so I'm happy with that, if you can see. I'm very pleased with that. It looks very realistic. Very, very happy. Okay, the one thing I did want to go through is just this one here. This is the one that fell off the stick on the last video that I did. So I was looking at it just now and it actually looks quite squashed. The trouble is, it's been sat there for a while. So I'm just going to try and ease out a couple of the, sort of stand them up a little bit rather than be led down like they were. Remember, once it goes in the oven, which I'm going to put these in the oven soon, as soon as I finish this last one, they're all going to go in. So it's just a case I just want to perk it up a little bit because you can see that it perhaps has had some sort of trauma. I'm still going to put it in the oven because, I mean, I will keep it as this one fell off the stick sort of scenario. But it is you can not throw it out, it is salvageable. You just got to be patient and very, very careful. So I'm just... Okay, I think that's a little bit better than what it was. It's not as nice as the other one that I've done, but then that one didn't get dropped. So, in all fairness to it. Right, so colours. What colours are we going to do this one? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've just got to move you around a little bit so I can get into the drawer. What colour should we do it? I think I've got... okay, so what I've got? Pearlescent Lilac. Got the cerise again. Bearing in mind this is a dark pink, so I don't want to stress it out with a colour that just doesn't look right. I should put these on the back really so there they can be seen. I've got a mink. That one might be nice. Yeah, there's a mink. Mink, cerise, pearlescent white, there's lilac and purple. And I might get my husband to swap. I have another desk that I think I'm going to swap over to, which is a little bit bigger than this one. There's our baby pink again. The baby pink's a beautiful colour. Now these ones, I have got golds. This one we could perhaps use a little bit of gold. That's a metallic copper. Now all these colours are metallic, so there it is. I've got dark blues and greens and all sorts, but I might use a little bit of gold on this one. Now, remember what we did before. Oh, I'll just turn you around a little bit. Sorry. Remember what we did before, and that was a little bit of water. I think I'm going to go with the metallic coppery colour because it's darker. I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with a lighter colour. Okay, we're going to use baby pink, metallic gold, and Oh no, hang on. Yeah, that is baby pink. What did I do with the mink? Pearlescent mink. So they're the ones we're going to use this time, rather than the lighter colours. And I'm going to use a bigger brush, because I want, like, a larger amount of coverage. I don't know if you can see me past this, okay. So I've got a nice big fat brush, like so. Okay, so we're going to start with, I'll leave the metallic gold till last. I think we're going to start with the baby pink. Paint, baby pearlescent baby pink, and it's 100% edible. This is rainbow dust, this is called. But I like these. I like these a lot. Like I say, I've had them for quite a few months now, and I use them, just seem to use them a lot, and they just don't seem to ever sort of disappear. So, right. So dipped my brush in the water first, and now we're just gonna just gently, like I said yesterday, just sort of brush it on, because when we use the water in a minute, even if it dries, it doesn't matter, it just still sort of takes it off and thins it out. Okay, you can go the way of the, so it's got some sort of the way the petal is sort of formed. Don't panic about it looking a bit like bulked up and puddles of it everywhere. As long as there's not like wet big puddles, just use just sort of try and spread it out a little bit. But what will happen is, I'll show you in a minute, same as the last one, like we did last night. As soon as you add water, it just really nicely spreads it out. That pasta maker's getting in my way. It's good to move it, like I say, because of plugs. That's another reason I think we'll move desks and that. My husband's trying to finish off the wardrobe. He's making one in the bedroom for me, which is great, which is why I actually originally got moved out of the bedroom, because that was where I originally was set up. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. I've actually got more room in here. Wouldn't like to tell him that he was right. Okay, it's just, like I say, just plop it on. Keep turning your rows so you make sure you've got good coverage. Okay, so I've nearly done with this one. So this is the baby pink, and then in a minute we're going to use the mink. Right, so that's the baby pink done. So I'm just going to put a bit of water on my brush. Make sure it's not too wet, and then just sweep the whole petal underneath, everywhere. Okay. Don't be worried about putting some water on it. You don't want to drown it, because obviously that is going to cause you a problem. It will go sticky and nasty, which you don't want. You just want to use it just to spread it, give it a nice shimmer. All the colours I have are metallic. I like the metallics. They do plain colours. The only colour I haven't got is the orange. Then I think there was a couple of other fire reds, which I will get, because I really do love these. They just work really well, as you can see. Try and keep your brush a bit cleaner, the actual colour, otherwise all it'll do is you just kind of want to spread it out, like so. And it stops it clumping anywhere and puddling or anything like that. Gives it a nice even cover. I've never actually put this stuff in the oven, so this will be a bit of an eye-opener. Like I say, I'm going to do the green bits on the bottom, and when I do that on the next video, I will show you what happens. So maybe I won't be able to use these in the oven, and they just may not take. I don't know, but we will find out. I can't imagine it being a problem. I can't remember using it on my cooking in the oven. The trouble is you don't really put fondant work in the oven. It just, it's like the air dry clay, it just goes dry on its own. Okay, so when we put the next colours on, they're going to go on really, really easily now, because you've already got water on each petal. So all you'll be doing is literally adding to it, which is absolutely fine, which is what you want. Like so. Very nice day out today by the looks of it. It's not what we were expecting. Bless him, my husband put, let's take that. My husband put load out on the line earlier on, and within I think 5 minutes it had to come in and be respun because it absolutely poured with rain here. Nobody was expecting it. It didn't look like it was coming. No dark skies, it just came. So I can imagine there was a lot of people got caught out. But now the sunshine's back out again. Well, I don't know that it ever really went. Very frustrating, but there you go. It is what it is, I suppose. So don't forget as well, you've got the colouring in the actual petal, in the actual clay. So, like I've got a big white stripe there, look. That's actually in the clay. Okay, you don't want any puddles anywhere. Just go around and just make sure you haven't got no puddles anywhere. Just dry your brush off if you find you have. And just like so. Just kind of, because you don't want puddles. That's a must, no puddles. If you'll find it anywhere, it'll be at the end of a petal. So it's giving it a nice, right, so far. So now I've got mink colours. I'm just going to gently pop some of this on, a bit sort of all over the place really. It's a bit of a different sort of colour rather than using a white. It's quite nice to try something new. Again, don't worry too much, because if it doesn't look right and you're not happy with it, it will sort of wear down a little bit with a little bit of water, which you can use afterwards. Okay. There we go. Very happy. Now I've not used gold on any of these yet, so I'm a bit worried. I think I'm going to get out a smaller brush, a much smaller brush, to try that. Just gently kind of rub it in. Less is more, is what my mother always taught me. I'm just going to make sure that it's not. You just want it to look nice and pretty. See, like that bit's a bit. Okay. So I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water now. But I'm going to dry my brush off a little bit because it's already had one dose of water on there, so I just don't want to push my luck. But see, look, by doing that and brushing it downwards, it starts to give you like, it mimics rose leaves. Well, I think it does anyway. And if anything else, it looks pretty, if nothing else. Each to their own. I mean, you decide what you want. I know what I like, and I'm sure the next person knows what they like. But you must do whatever it is that you like, and then it will work for you. Yeah, okay. So we're getting there now. By dragging it downwards, look, it looks like it's kind of part of the petal, which is nice. And don't forget as well, once this is all dried hard and it gets doused in the garden with some top coat, which I use Hobbycraft top coat, which works really well. Does a nice finish. It will ping back up. So what I'll do is I'll dry it and then come back to you with, when I do the bottom, the green part, and then we can look at them, because they'll be hard then. Okay, like I say, I'm going to change the brush to do the gold, because I'm a little bit worried about it. I don't quite know where we're going to put the goldy bits. Perhaps along the edges, maybe. There we go. Right, okay, so that's what we've got so far then. I think I'm quite pleased with that. Brush it downwards, it looks like it's part of the petal. Very pretty. If your brush seems to be putting more water on than taking any off, just dry it on an old cloth. I mean, I've got an old tea towel I use. And all of a sudden, occasionally it disappears and then comes back and it's nice and clean. Okay, now look at the way that, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Nice brown, fine brush. Okay, right. I'm just gonna very, very, very carefully, I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in water first. I don't want a hard and fast line. Now I always hold one hand with the other. Okay. Just here and there. Just a very, very small amount. Sorry about this drilling you can hear. It's my husband's. I don't want to tell him off because he won't make my wardrobe. So if you're going to put it on, I think very carefully. If you're going to put it around the edge of one, please, and try and go from one side to the other. It doesn't have to be perfect. As far as when you just feel like you're confident enough to do. I'm going to put in some water again. It just doesn't, it's not such a hard gold line then. Just going to take it in there a little bit. Making sure I don't get it on the other petal. There we go. And goodness me, it's another one of those jobs where I hold my breath. Thank goodness they're not huge petals. Sorry if my hand's in the way and you can't see. Do this one here. Okay, if you do go and make them slip, like I just did, it won't matter too much because it's only a small brush. My trouble is as well, I shake, which is very frustrating. Did that even touch? I think it did. Okay, now I'm only going to do perhaps this one now, and then I think that I don't want to put too much on. At the same time, I need to do enough so it makes an impact. Just a little simple line, nothing major, nothing amazing. I think you'll be surprised, and so will I, how pretty it will be when it's been done. And like I say, when it gets sprayed, it will be popping, I do feel. There we go. I'll do this one because this is a beautiful edged one, this one. See, made a mistake, but it's alright because we're going to go over there in a minute and we'll get some water on it. Okay, dry it off. I don't want a huge amount of water on this, let's just make sure our brush is clean. And then because these are water paper colours, not water, what am I on about? It's because I'm dipping my brush in water. Because they're food colouring, you just add a bit of water to it and it just dissolves under brush. There we go. A bit thicker than the others, but I can live with that. Okay, that one's been done. Right, let's just do that one there then. I'm going to go around this one here. Completely messed that one up, but again, clean your brush off, a little bit of water, dry, and just go along the edge, and it will come off. There you go, look. Let's go along this bit here. Ooh, that wasn't a very clever one to pick. It's kind of resting on top of the other one. Yay! The only way I can sturdy up my hand to do this is to kind of push it into my other hand, which is how I do it, so it seems to work okay. Okay. I think, folks, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to do every single one. I might just do that one because it's pretty plain at that one side. This one. No, hang on. Let's do this one here. And this bit here. I think where it would be. Just the old one. No, don't like that. Obviously you don't want to make too many mistakes, otherwise it will just take all the colours that you've put on off. I just thought I'd try something and just see what happened, but I didn't like it. I think I'm just going to stick to what we've done, what we decided and what we've got. Okay, is that all come off? Looking pretty good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm just going to put just a tinsy bit along that edge now because that other edge has been done. Okay, let's leave it at that. Less is more, as my mum used to say. Right, so they're now ready to go in the oven. Please write in the comments what you think, what you'd like to see, colourings and that, and what really you think of using the food dyes, or the food paints, as the case may be. I think it looks absolutely exquisite. Okay, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Crafts at Home with Lisa. Being a fairly new YouTuber, could really do with some really great support. I've had some really great support already, which I'm massively thankful for, and it's been really good. But just hit that subscribe button and like. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's all the details are below with an email address. So just hit that subscribe button, and I will see you back when we're going to put some green thingies on the bottom. Great. Speak to you soon.